Hey guys, this is a lesson today for 710, and we're subtracting mixed numbers, and we can use models today, but we really want to estimate and then kind of find the difference, Euro subtraction, and the big part today is we're going to think about how do we break a whole down into fractions when we need to borrow. Okay, so let's take a look. We're going to take a look at 11 here. We'll take a look at 13. Okay, we'll do two of these problems. So to begin with, number 11 here says 6 1/3 minus 5 2/3. And I'd like to go ahead and pull out these 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I have 1/3 that I want to pull out as well. 6 1/3, and then you subtract 5 2/3. Cool. So if I know that I need to take away 5 2/3, I know that I'm going to need to, like we talked about yesterday, I need to take this one here, and I'm going to need to break this one up. Okay, I'm not going to be able to do take away 2/3. I only have 1/3 here, and if I need to take 2/3 away from that, I can't do that. So what I'm looking at here now is then saying to myself, okay, I have 6 and 1/3 right here. We can see that. Here's our 6, and here's my 1/3. And ultimately, I need to break apart one of this 6, okay? So if I break this apart, I'm really not going to have 6 holes. I'm really going to have 5 holes. So I'm going to have my 5 holes, plus this one that I'm going to break apart, plus my 1/3. Now, this one that we're breaking apart here, instead of saying it's a 1, if we're dealing with thirds here, what we would do is we would say that was 3/3. And I would have my 5, and I would add my 3/3, and I would have my 1/3. And let me show you what that looks like up here in our thing. I'm going to take this, I'm going to get rid of this guy, and I'm going to put in place a 3/3. So what I did was I replaced this 1 with 3/3 because I need to take away my 2/3. Okay, and so this, when we do that over here in our model, this is what it looks like in our math. So we had the 6. We broke it down into 5. We replaced that 1 and 3/3. And now we can go ahead and rewrite 6 and 1/3 as 5, and let me take my 3 plus my 1 will be 5 and 4/3. We know 4/3 as being an improper fraction. It's not right. It doesn't work. But what it allows us to do is we kind of just borrowed, and now that allows me to take away 2/3. So let's do the fractional subtraction first. 4/3 minus 2/3. 4 minus 2 is 2, 2/3, and 5 minus nothing is still 5. So I get a total answer of 5 and 2/3, and up here in my model, if I look at it, and I select this guy and break it apart, and I do take away 2/3, 1, 2, I am left with not 6 and 1/3, but now I'm left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2/3. And so that's correct. And the learning, the big aha, the big moment happened right here when we took our 1 and changed it into a 3/3, and that allowed us to go ahead and add it up and get 5 and 4/3. Okay, let's try it one more time. Let's do it with this one here, the next one that I said, which was number 13. We're going to do 8 and 3/16 minus 3 and 5/8. So, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 3/16. We don't have 16ths up here, so I'm not going to be able to model that up here. So I'm just going to have to do the math. Okay, that's okay. We can do this. We can think about this. Think that I have 16ths here, and there's 3 of them, 3/16. I need to redo that. So let's take 8. And let's do 3/16. That's fine. And then you take away 3 and 5/8. First step first is I have 16ths and I have 8ths. I need to make those equivalent fractions. So I'm going to say I have 3/16 minus, I'm going to do this multiplied by 2 over 2 equals 5 times 2 is 10. So I'm going to get 10/16 minus 10/16. 3 minus 10, I can't do that. So I'm going to take my 8 and I'm going to subtract 1, and I'm really going to have 7. And then I'm going to add in 1, would be a total would be 16/16. And now I can take 16/16 plus 3/16, and I can rename my 8 and 3/16 as 8 and 19/16. And now what I can do is, now I can subtract 10/16 from that. And 19 minus 10 equals 9/16. And I'm left with 8 and 9/16. So what we're doing is we're finding that the magic happens right here when we take away 1 from our initial and rename it as a 16/16 or 3/3 or 4/4 or 5/5 or 6/6 or whatever, the equivalent to 1, and then adding that in. So hopefully that'll help you get through these problems, and that's what we're doing when we're subtracting mixed numbers. Nice job.